And the white boys are the ones that put in from Boston all of the work on the Skinners. A Skinner come in 5 seconds, he's gone, and there's a 98% chance it was done by a white boy from Boston.
Word. Anywhere you go in the country, if you're an 038, you're gonna get respect from any federal joint.
Yeah, because I wouldn't say we're the only person or the biggest person, but we're known for no rats, we're known for no homosexual activities going in our car. And thanks to the white boys, they clean up most of the Skinners. So who wouldn't respect that? And we're always a small car anywhere we go.
Because you can bank on each person that's actually still there being official.
Yeah, and we're gonna stick together and go.
And so, is there other states that don't take care of their shit like that?
Oh, it's plenty.
Got the world on your shoulders, and I know it's heavy. You my dog, and you lock us in.
They call me Mr. Keefy, please believe me. Make it look easy. 16 calendars, I'm back. The streets need me. Streets greasy. 3 me when you see me. Application for the cash, they be calling me Luigi. My bros luck. See, I really made a way through. Yes, I sent paper in the form of K2. Stamps, IDs, and pages, they sling away too. Free Biggs, free pistol, free Dre too. The streets await you, the best up north. From the state to the feds, I was the chef up north. Heavy commissary did a stretch up north. Stack paper had a plan when I left up north. Free man, I love you and I miss you, bro. Hurt me when I left, and I left, you ain't get to go. Think about the time that we used to do to give and go. You official, bro. Never whistle,
bro. Man, I got my boy Styxx here. Last time I seen him, we were in the Max together. He did Fed time, bro. He grew up in the hood, so we're gonna get into his story, man, and messing with some big names. And I'm gonna let him tell his story. He tells it better than me. So Styxx, just tell him what your name is and where you grew up.
Man, what's the word? It's your boy Poolside Stixx from Dorchester, Franklin Hill, 02124, repping Beantown, man. Tune in, W number 102828. You hear me?
Let me ask you about your career, where you're at right now in your life. So, what are you doing right now with your rap, and how did you get into all that?
I've been doing music probably since like 2004, 2005, as far as recording. 2008, I caught a federal bid. I did 16 years. Just came home like a year and a half ago. So I just got right back to it and, just doing things. Started a record label, planned everything out from the joint. Started a clothing line when I was up there with you and just been executing everything.
Word. I can't wait to get into how you did all that, even when you were in there. We'll start off with your childhood, bro. So you grew up, you said in Franklin Park, I believe it was?
Franklin Hill.
Franklin Hill.
Yep.
So what was it like growing up in Franklin Hill? Did you have brothers and sisters? How was your mom and dad together? What was your childhood like?
I was originally born in Florida. I came up here probably like when I was like 10 years old, 10 years old. Born in Jacksonville. We moved to a couple places in the city briefly. And then I always had family that lived in the projects. So when my moms came up here, we originally got a spot in the projects and we lived up there for the most of my childhood.
And what was it like growing up in the projects?
It was regular to me. I've been living in housing all my life, so it was regular, like a family.
Yeah. So do you still talk to kids from your neighborhood and everything?
Of course.
That's what's up. How overall, how did everybody turn out?
Pretty much the same.
Where so is that a good thing or a bad thing?
Mostly bad.
Mostly bad.
Mostly bad. Mostly bad. Mostly bad.
We won't get into why that is because we don't know, but it just seems like a trend. You know what I mean? Like people that grow up and they don't have as much as other people tend to end up in bad positions.
Yeah.
That could happen to white people too, because it happened to me,
Yeah.
When was the first time you got, when were you introduced to crime or drugs or like the underworld, anything like that?
I kind of been around that my whole life. I really, for the most part, until I started educating myself or seeing other things and shit like that. I really don't, never not seen nothing else besides that. You feel what I'm saying? That's all I know.
And so when you say like seeing them things, you mean like violence, drug dealing, like what kind of things you talk about?
Anything you could think of.
Really?
Anything, robberies, anything you could think of.
Were you, as like a kid, were you partaking in that type of thing or were you just seeing it?
Nah, I was raised different. My family come from the South, so I'm one of those people that you would call a late boomer in the streets, stuff like that. Like I was a good kid, I was into sports, skating, girls, clothes, stuff like that. Like most of my friends my age, they jumped off the porch way before me.
Okay. You said skating, like skateboarding?
Yeah, no, skating, like roller skating.
Okay.
It's kind of like a big cultural thing in Boston.
What was the first time that you ended up getting, arrested? And what happened?
Maybe like 14, 15, 16, like all petty cases, like BB guns and stolen property, just little shit like that.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And did you ever see yourself as like a criminal, or were you just acting like a kid, just mixed up in
Nah,
it?
I was mostly kid. At that age, I didn't see myself as, that type of person.
So what age were you when you kind of like, gave yourself over to the streets and ended up just going down that path?
Maybe like 16, 17.
Okay, speak about how that happened. Like what ended up transpiring and like what was going through your mind at the time.
I caught a case or whatever. I used to have a hustle, and that's kind of how I started dealing with, or not dealing with, but on a street level, dealing with a lot of dudes from my neighborhood. Being from Florida and being from Mass, I used to go back and forth every couple years and shit like that. So I kind of figured out at a young age, like 15, 16 years old, guns were hard to get up here, and Florida's a hunting state, so it was easy to get up here. So I used to collect guns and bring them up here on a Greyhound, and that's kind of how I started fucking with a lot of dudes that I was fucking with from my geographical neighborhood and shit like that. And that's what kind of introduced me and shit like that to guns. So I caught a gun case and up here in Boston, and my family sent me back to Florida for a year. And by that time I kind of was already like, in my little clique, my generation and shit like that. So I did whatever I had to do to get back up here. So I turned Florida up, and my family called like he can't be down here no more, and came back up here and turned the city up.
Did you pick up anything down there you kind of brought back up cultural wise?
It's two different worlds. Florida and down south in general, and Boston and the East Coast is like night and day. So it's a lot of qualities that I have just as a person still to this day that a lot of people up here don't have. So yeah, definitely the culture is like just totally different. It's like night and day.
What do you think is the biggest difference about it?
Assault rifles.
I was about to say that.
I seen him fidget over there too.
Because I'm like, that's the biggest difference. They don't play with the shit. I mean, we do it too, but.
And just as far as street, like up here, if something happens to somebody or somebody disrespects or violate, usually it's your crew or your neighborhood up here. Down south it's different. Your family rides for you. You know what I'm saying? It's more cutthroat. So more than likely you'll have friends that ride for you, but not like your family. You feel what I'm saying?
Right. Do you feel like it's a little bit more gang culture up here, like almost?
A gang culture really done took over nationwide. The world's smaller. The internet made the world smaller. So, but back then, yeah, I feel like it was more of blocks and stuff like that. Back then, down south was different. So you could have dudes. You'll go to like how I'm from Franklin Hill up here to housing down there, little projects, and from the outside looking in, you will probably think this is one neighborhood, but these are fucking 20 different dudes from 20 different neighborhoods. So everybody eats together down there. You feel what I'm saying? In that aspect, it's not as geographical back then as it was up.
So you get back up here, what's the first thing you start doing? Moving them guns around and shit?
ASAP.
Yeah.
ASAP.
So
ASAP.
how does that go down? Like, do you partner up with people? I mean, obviously you have to tell me who you partner up. I'm just saying, like, as far as like how did it work for you? Did you end up getting caught? Did you end up working with people? Someone snitched on you?
I never got caught, but I got caught with one of the guns. You feel what I'm saying? Shit like that. But I already knew everybody that needed them and wanted them. That was easy. That was right within my geographical area, so that wasn't really too hard to figure out. Everybody needed guns up here.
Let me ask you a tough question, right? Growing up in the hood, you obviously, you see gun violence. You're a witness to it. Do you feel like it was a good thing bringing guns to your neighborhood or a bad thing?
I don't think it's so much the guns. I got a nonprofit called Guns Affect Kids, so I do believe in a sense of like in a deeper aspect it's the guns, but it's also the people and shit like that. So it's you got to put it on a scale, yeah.
Yeah, and so at least you're giving back now. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Do you do that because of your history, or do you do that because you see where things are going now?
I do it for a couple of different reasons. I don't really do things for just one reason, but I started my nonprofit when we was together, my clothing line, my record label, everything. I started playing it when we was together, but I started giving back when we were together. You feel what I'm saying? Doing our thing, what we was doing.
Yeah.
And it was just like I had started my clothing line. It was doing good in prison for like 2021. I started it when I was with you, and I didn't, I had murder cases and all different type of cases, drug conspiracies in the feds, and the last thing I wanted was the city or the state to be like, this dude just did all this time for these type of crimes, and he's just taking, coming home trying to make money. So, I started doing my little giveaways within my neighborhood, within my people's store, stuff like that.
That's smart, and it's good for the community. You know what I mean? More people, especially someone in your situation where you're gonna be, I don't know, maybe even an icon for a younger generation to see them, see somebody who's been through the system and is now giving back, in a way that he had an impact on himself before he was able to do that. But and salute you for that. Moving forward, how do you end up in the feds? Where do you end up when you get to the feds?
My federal case is not even from Mass, it's from Maine. I was getting money in Maine for a few years. I ended up catching a conspiracy for 5 kilos and distribution over 50 guns. And I caught a state case, which we'll get into. But the feds, I've been all over. I did 16 years and I got shipped to 18 different prisons within 16 years. Some of them, a small amount being state, but mostly being federal. So I've been all over.
And now I know you have a wife and a girl. What's that like moving all over the country with a girl that you're trying to keep in contact and have contact and visits, and even having contact with people from your neighborhood that you can remain, tied to the streets where you don't lose your support circle and shit like that? How is that?
For the most part, for the most of my bid, I had a great support system. You feel what I'm saying? My man right here, he's did federal time with me. So, I'm known for having a great support system. I've seen like a lot of dudes that I try to help out and stuff like that in way worse situations. So I can't complain. For the most part, my whole bit, I had a great support system.
When you go to the feds, you go through classification. How's that work?
Classification for us on the East Coast is usually people count Wyatt in Rhode Island or Plymouth. Those are not federal jails under federal law, federal books. You go to Brooklyn, MDC, and that's where you get classified, where they see where they're going to ship you. And if you're going far, you stop in Oklahoma, which is an airport. They turned into a jail, so the plane pulls right up. You get off the plane like how you do at a regular airport, and you walk in, and it's a prison, and you get classified there. You could be there you could leave that night, or you could be there for 2 months. They figure out where you're going, and they ship you. And I don't know, you're from 038, you better have that paperwork.
When you get to where you're going, where do you end up, and how you feel mentally walking into it?
It depends for the person. For me, my bid was totally different. You feel what I'm saying? So I was not to be cocky or not like that, just complete comfortable. I had a lot of older guys from my neighborhood that already did federal time. I knew the rules. You feel what I'm saying? About time you done did so much pre-trial shit like that, you already know the rules and shit. My paperwork was good, so I really wasn't worried. I got shipped my first spot to way in the Midwest, where literally besides a white boy from Charlestown and a white boy from South Boston, there wasn't even nobody else there from Boston. We had no table in the chow hall, no nothing. You feel what I'm saying? So I was really by myself my first spot.
Is that unusual for the feds to have only 2 people from your neighborhood there?
It depends on where you get shipped at. Most people from New England really don't go past, let's just say, Pennsylvania, unless you're a pen. You got max points, you're going to the pen. You feel what I'm saying? So a lot of people stay Pennsylvania and up. So once you get past Pennsylvania, their numbers start dwindling down. You feel what I'm saying?
Okay.
So yeah, if you're getting shipped to Texas or California or something like that, Illinois, you're more than likely it might not be nobody there from New England, from Mass, from Boston, or anything.
Wow. So if you're in the penitentiary, what is the chances that you make it to a medium security facility?
18 months, clear conduct, no tickets, stuff like that, which is kind of hard in the pen.
Okay. And how hard would you say it is to maintain that?
Me, like I said, my bid is different. Like, I'm probably the only person you'll meet in the world. I started in a low with 14 points and wrapped up from a pen.
Damn, so you went up instead of down.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah, it's probably like what would have happened to me.
Yeah.
Definitely if I started down in the first
definitely
place.
would have happened to you.
So you get bounced all over the country. What's the worst federal penitentiary you end up in?
It depends. It fluctuates like every 3 to 5 years. So a spot that could be probably the most bloodiest spot right now in 3 to 5 years could be a money spot, could be a dropout yard. Like, they switch it up. That's why they move the inmates around. So it depends on where the most dangerous inmates are.
When you say
never safe, like, you know, as in saying you're stable to one spot. No, you can, within the next 6 months, they can push you back up east.
wow,
They flip the yards, so the yards will stay probably like that for 18 months, depending on
wow,
how violent it get super violent. Then it's just like they shut it down for a minute, switch,
yeah.
flip the yards.
Start moving
Yeah.
people around. They kind of do the same things in the max. If a block gets too hot, they're too tight. No
Yeah.
one's snitching. They're like, fuck that. We got to mix this up a little
Yeah,
bit.
they'll show up with a bus and put 50 people on the bus, and you're just out of there that day. You never know.
You could potentially end up real far away from your family. How do you stay in contact?
I didn't get to New England, probably Berlin, New Hampshire, probably to like the end of my bid with him. I was all over the country my whole bid. And I was young. I went in the feds at 23 years old. So
And so what does it feel like not even being able to see your family or nothing?
I was still getting visits.
Oh, you're still getting visits.
Yeah.
So that's a good thing. Did the feds do anything to try to get your family towards you?
No.
Nothing. Wow.
If you're from like New York and something like that, big cities like that, you might have inmates that put together buses or former inmates that put together buses for their family to come up. But being from New England, no.
Wow. So that's cool. Talk about that a little bit. How do you, so you say they put together buses. What do you mean by that?
They might, like, you might have a guy like me and you that say, hey, let's start a business, put some bread up, and they get the Greyhound type buses and put up the flyers and put them all over jail. Yo, your family, whatever, we got a bus we're charging, and your mother, kids, baby mother, all of that can get on the bus, and they bring you up to the jail every weekend. You always see it with the New Yorkers.
You said you always sit with the New Yorkers?
No, you'll always see the buses with the New Yorkers.
Oh, okay. So why is that? Because they're a little bit...
They're structured. They're organized.
Okay. If you're from Mass, you're 038, you get to the feds, what's the first thing that's going to happen?
They're going to ask for your paperwork.
And then after that, how's that go down?
After you clear paperwork, you got 30 days, you feel what I'm saying? You might get a 15-day grace period. You got some homies that'll tell you, no, go to the hole. Once you check out, you get it, you can come back out. But if you accept like clothes and food, stuff like that from the homies, and you know your paperwork ain't no good, 9 times out of 10 you're gonna get crushed.
If, say, you know, your paperwork's smooth, you're gonna get care packages and all that shit. Like, what
you
kind
might
of...
get it before.
Right.
Yeah, you might get it before. You might get it as soon as you walk through the door.
Okay,
but if you
cool.
take it and your paperwork's not good, then
Okay,
you know.
yeah. So just know yourself when you get there, right? Okay. So, and you get to the feds, right? Is someone coming up hitting you a banger? Like,
They know
this?
no, you can't get no banger until you get cleared for your paperwork. You know what I'm saying? You can get some food, sweatsuits, some sneakers, cosmetics, stuff like that. But till you get cleared, you ain't getting no banger. You're not gambling. You're not doing none of that.
And why is that?
Because we can end up crashing with another car over a gambling problem with you, and you might not even be official.
Oh, okay.
And 9 times out of 10, we already gonna know who's coming off the bus.
Yeah, we already know anyway. We got the list days
names,
before.
List, who's coming.
And speak on that. How does that happen? The COs or...
I mean, for the most part, majority of the jails, they try to, you know, keep it cool so it won't be too much violence. So that, hey, y'all got 4 coming from 038s coming.
Okay.
I knew
So,
through laundry.
Yeah,
They gotta make the bags.
Right. Oh, yeah. Yep.
Yep, that's
Property.
another way.
Shit
Yeah,
like that. They
property
get
and
the
laundry,
paperwork coming through and shit, yeah. Okay. So, in the feds now, from what I hear is that they have more privileges for convicts that go there. So you get like, they have machines on the units or something. You could use canteen money that your people send you and buy like candy or sodas.
That's new. I just violated probably like 4 months ago. Wyatt has a vending machine on the unit. These kids now, like the 138 kids, not the 038 kids, the new kids is just coming to the feds. They got it made. They got tablets with games we used to play, Madden, NBA Live, 2K, Mortal Kombat, Street Fight on it. They got iHeartRadio on the tablet. Yeah, I just left, bro. They got, bro, it's crazy.
So
movies.
can you get Netflix?
No, but they got all the new movies on.
Right. What about YouTube? Can they watch
no
us?
internet access, but they get Apple Music, they get movies, they got it made, bro.
So is it similar to the tablet?
They have vending machines on the unit.
Yeah, that's wild. That's why I brought it up, because I'm like, damn, I didn't know to believe it or not. You know what I mean? But I heard they give you a little card. Like,
where I was at is no card. You just put your PIN number, and then your account is already on the vending machine. So it's sodas, Snickers, soups, everything you could think of in there.
Fuck waiting for canteen day, right?
Yeah, all of that. I pay this poker bill when the canteen. Nah, go to the vending machine, get that right now.
Yo, that shit's fire.
Yeah.
That shit's pretty dope.
Yeah, that's different.
What kind of stuff do they have in the vending machines?
Everything you could think of: soups, cooking food, sausages, Snickers, M&M's, soda, water, healthy food, everything you could think of.
So that eliminates the need for a block store, basically, right?
No, the stores are still
Store's
open.
still gonna go. Yeah.
Really?
And the storemen are getting smart. I was just up there for 4 or 5 months.
Mm.
So the storemen, you know them, anybody with stores is usually good business mind and
Yeah.
probably somebody.
Yeah.
So they'll either have one of their runners or they'll wake up and they'll buy half of the vending machine out. They fill the vending machines
shit.
up 5 days
Yeah.
a week. The vending
Okay.
machine is gone.
Really?
It's not like it's just sitting there for 2-3 days a week.
Oh,
Every day they fill it up every morning.
get out of here.
Yeah, they making money off of that.
Damn. So they're suited and booted up there. So
Yeah,
what
on my
else?
unit was just a store man. He'll clear 50 to 75% of the machine out every morning. So
Oh,
you still
okay,
gotta
so-
come see him.
Yeah.
Still gotta holler out. That's crazy.
And the stuff in the vending machine they don't sell on commissary.
It's kind of like I used to do similar shit with the store, just buy the whole store with stamps or whatever. The stamps. So let's talk about stamps and the feds. Like, what's the currency in the feds for?
Stamps, everything stamps. It's
Okay.
like Norfolk, everything stamps.
And how much do you get like 10 books of stamps for?
Mm,
I don't know what the-
depends. When I was up there, I think you was getting either 10, I can't remember, 15 or 20 books for like $100.
Yeah,
If
something
you're
like
buying
that.
them off the yard
Not
and stuff
bad.
like that.
Depending on the yard,
Well,
how much the books are each book.
I would say it's 20 books up here for $100.
Yeah, so that's what it was, 20
Yeah.
books for $100.
You see how things have kind of changed once they opened up the Cash App and the apps that we use on the streets
Yeah,
for
that's
money.
what, that's what it was up the way. Everything was about an app.
Right.
Yeah.
They took the stamps out of the equation almost.
Yeah, I don't think the feds is like that. The feds is gonna forever be stamps. All they
Really?
care about is stamps in the feds.
All they care.
You die over a 30-cent stamp.
Structure goes is like the 03A. Is there a shop collar for like every prison's got its own shop collar for each
It
neighborhood?
usually is. It's like a structure. You got enforcers, dudes that's gonna put in work. You might have one shot caller, but best believe it's 3-4 other people probably helping him call a shot, stuff like that. So it's structured. You know
Okay.
what I'm saying? And
How-
Boston is like big on it.
Mm. What sets us apart from the rest of the feds?
The white boys.
Really? So speak on that. What?
New England is probably the only place in the United States of America where the blacks, the whites, and the Latinos, they get along for the most part.
Okay.
And the whites will ride with the blacks, and no other whites in the
No.
country understands that.
Nowhere near.
Really?
And the whites ride with the blacks.
How did the whites from 038 get along with the whites from other states? Then they don't
They're the most respected white boys in the country.
really.
They really don't, though, right?
It's a respect thing.
yeah, that's
They're
what it is,
independent, but
they
they're respected by the
Yeah.
mob. They're
Okay.
respected by the ABs. They're respected by the Aryans. They're respected. You feel what I'm saying? They're the only. Charlestown and South Boston has made it to where you can't be from Memphis or Florida, California, and say, "Hey, I'm a white boy and I'm on Cali time."
Word.
You're either getting down with the ABs or the
Oh.
Aryans or the biker crews
Okay.
or your mafioso. So Boston is the only independent white boy car in the whole federal system. So you might see a white boy walk by you and he got a Boston Red Sox tattooed on the back of his head, and you be like, "Hey, what's up, homie?" Because you're thinking he's from Boston, but he might be from Texas. He just didn't want to get on racist time or Aryan
shit.
time, so he went and got down with the white boys from Boston.
So it's almost like the Boston B is almost like it's like gang up there almost.
Yeah, but depending on where you at, you gotta earn that,
Yeah, I'm sure. I'm sure.
especially the red in it.
Oh, really? That's crazy, huh?
You gotta understand a lot of white boys. I didn't understand it at first, but a lot of white boys around the country aren't racist for
Right.
one. Then you have a lot of white boys like the Aryans and dirty white boys and
Right.
ABs. They like to push them around, try to crash people out. So
Mm.
the Boston from white boys, they're solid, but
Mm.
they're cool. So
Right.
a lot of white boys, they attract more to that than
Right.
the other white boy crews. So they get down with Boston.
Yeah, something I noticed about us is that, like, even with us, like boyos, we don't like taking orders from
Yeah.
shit. Like, we'll do what we're supposed to without having to be told to do it.
Oh, I'm pretty sure that with the Boston white boys, it started like they had to earn that within
Mm.
the Aryans and the ABs. I'm pretty sure they clashed
Oh,
a
yeah.
million times, but it's to the point where I've seen it with my own eyes. Pens, mediums, lows, they don't fuck with them and they respect them.
Word.
And the white boys are the ones that put in from Boston all of the work on the Skinners. A Skinner come in 5 seconds, he's gone, and there's a 98% chance it was done by a white boy from Boston.
Word. Anywhere you go in the country, if you're an 038, you're gonna get respect from any federal joint.
Yeah, because I wouldn't say we're the only person or the biggest person, but we're known for no rats. We're known for no homosexual activities going in our car. And, thanks to the white boys, they clean up most of the Skinners. So who wouldn't respect that? And we're always a small car anywhere we go.
Because you can bank on each person that's actually still there being official.
Yeah, and we're going to stick together and go.
And so is there other states that don't take care of their shit like that?
Oh, it's plenty of them.
Really?
Yeah, plenty of them.
Because I heard in the feds it's more like, it's like a no tolerance policy. It's just you're a good dude or you're gone. Period. But it could obviously...
Some people, even within Mass, some people slip through the cracks, but we have it doesn't happen a lot with us.
So how long do you end up doing in the feds altogether?
16. I did 13 in the feds.
13 in the feds. Wow.
13 straight.
So do you get home before you go back to state, or what happened?
No, I went straight to the state. Straight from Allenwood, Penn to Walpole or Concord, whatever was classification at the time.
What's the differences? Like, you get there, was it like a culture shock?
Same thing as Florida and Boston, a whole totally different world. I remember when he coming home talking to him on the phone, like, bro, I can't deal with this shit. This shit is different.
Yeah, it's different, right?
Every time he called, bro, I cannot deal with this shit. It's like, what? He's like,
it's no structure like it is in the feds. There's no unity.
Yeah.
It's just different.
Probably doing time around me, he's calling you like this fucking dude.
Nah, you are actually probably like you are the most solidest white boy I met up there, but just as a whole, we don't have no unity. Like, you'll look at places like Springfield, Worcester, they have unity, they have structure, they kind of stick together, where Boston is so geographical within the hoods and dudes beefing. Dudes don't have no unity at all. You feel what I'm saying? Then you got the gang shit up the way now, which I fuck with a lot of gangs from around the state, but they stick together and have structure. So a lot of these places have more structure and have more unity. They have more power than us. They get more money than us. Stuff like that, because everybody is segregated for the most part.
Word. And it's true, because there's so many different street gangs beefing with each other. You can't get nobody to stand together unless it's against the cops.
Yeah, but you got gangs in LA and Chicago that beef with each other, but when they come to prison, they unify.
Right.
Definitely not going to let nobody from outside Chicago or outside LA hop on somebody that's not from there.
When you got to the state, what was the biggest thing causing you headaches? Just the unity?
Too many rats running.
He smiled. He's like, I want to see.
Too many rats running. The paperwork. Nobody checking paperwork. Nobody cares. Skinners. I got into it with a Skinner at the microwave over the microwave, and he felt he had authority to use the microwave over me. And then the thing about it, like, I've been doing time in Mass, like county and shit like that for a long time, and it's just like, it's different now in Mass, to where, like, before, a lot of things, you hear, that was my first time up the way, but I did a lot of time, been around a lot of dudes that did a lot of time. Before, that shit get corrected and nothing happened. It's just like, if you fucking say anything to a Skinner or a rat, you know what I'm saying? You know what's going to happen.
We had none for a long time. Yeah. And then all of a sudden, when they switched the prison around, I think when they flip-flopped it, it's like they took PC and just fucking flopped them right into the general population. So, like, now you got dudes, like, straight up fucking, like, vicious sex offenders living right on your tier. That's when I ended up coming out of DDU and ended up going right back, because they had a child molester on my tier, and it was like I was the only other white dude on that tier. And so it was like, it fell to me to take care of it. But the cops came to me and told me, like, yo, you got to check this dude out. And I was like, man, when I did,
that's how it was in the feds. The cops will tell you, ain't nothing going on, nothing moving till y'all get this child molester or this Skinner up out here. And that's how it's supposed to be.
Yeah. It sucks, though, that, when it comes to something like that, cops will push you, I don't know. Even when it comes to something like that, I almost be like, fuck you, I wanted to be here just to fucking piss you off. You know what I mean? But it's like, you damn well sure you don't want that to be there.
Definitely can't have that.
Yeah. But it sucks, though,
Yeah.
They got to press it, It should just be up to the people on the block.
I've seen dudes in situations like that where a cop will say something and a convict or inmate will tell him, like, yo, well, you going to come get me out of the hole? You feel what I'm saying? And he's righteous to say that.
Right.
You feel what I'm saying?
Absolutely, because they're not taking no punishment for that shit. Yeah. They're going to write the ticket, and they're going to make sure they write it correctly.
See, that's the difference in the feds. If if you go get a skinner,
Mm.
you know, we're going to the chow hall to see the warden the next day, and we're going to bail you out. Meaning, we're going to tell him, hey, get him out of the hole. You feel what I'm saying?
Really?
What he did was right. Just get him out of the hole, and they're gonna let you out.
Really?
That's a big difference.
Wow.
Yeah.
So, in what aspect does the warden feel like obligated to listen to you?
Because you know, like Boston has a rule, and I'm pretty sure other cars around the nation and gangs do too, where it's just like, say if somebody comes and they're from Boston for whatever reason, he can't be there. It could be a rat, it could be a skinner, or it could be other smaller reasons that he
Right.
can't be there. We won't do a one-on-one, so we might send 2-3 dudes at him.
Mm.
So that way the system, which is the warden and the jail, already knows 3 guys jumped on this one guy. This one guy ain't supposed to be there.
Right.
Those other 3 dudes are
Mm.
gonna get out way quicker than if y'all been here living on this yard and y'all got into a
Right.
fight.
Right.
Y'all will do more time.
Right.
But they know he just got here. He's not supposed to be there. They cleaned their car up. Let's get those guys out of the hole. You
Yeah.
might be out the next day.
Basically, it's like a mistake. They fucked up and they
Yeah.
put someone there, and then something happened. It wasn't like, you know, people living there had a grudge or something happened, and then it's a serious problem.
It's different. It's not even just that. It's like, all right, we respect.
You know the issue.
It's a fact. They could have killed this dude.
Right.
They didn't give us that trouble. They just
Okay.
got him up out of here. They
Yeah.
could have killed him.
Word.
You know what I'm saying?
And do they 9 times out of 10 do kill them out there? Or what do they do? How does that work?
The only ones I'm not saying is you got a lot of good dudes from Boston that put in that type of work, and I wouldn't even say kill, but play with that knife.
Mm.
But the white boys, they might do something crazy.
They crush.
Yeah, they gonna crush you.
Oh,
They
shit.
gonna crush you.
What's the worst beef stabbing you've seen up there?
I see way too many stabbings.
Yeah. Some good ones, though. Tell me a story of a good one, bro. I want to hear about it.
I seen a dude get killed before, and this
Really?
fucking, you could hear him yelling so much, and his voice go down. You could hear his soul fucking damn near leaving his body. Bone crusher. Shit is going through his body, hitting the floor, denting the floor. Like, I seen some crazy shit.
What happens to your mind after you see something like that?
You just know you gotta move a certain way out there. As long as you move in a certain way, the feds is all about respect. So if you move in a certain way, you know, paying your debts, stuff like that, you know, having respect, knowing to say excuse me, pardon self, like all that stuff, just being respectful, and you carry yourself a certain way, you'll be all right. But it's not always your all right thing, because the feds is more of a teamwork thing, a car thing. So you're not just moving like that for yourself, you're moving like that for everybody, because I can be moving right and he disrespects somebody or get into it with somebody and he don't let us know what's going on, and they can fucking come and kill me. You feel what I'm saying? So it's just about making sure, that's why you police your own car, so we not just crashing out with somebody, because the goal is to make sure we all go back to our families' home.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. And so does that happen often? Like, do people do
crash
Oh,
out.
hell yeah.
Cars crash every
All the
day,
time.
all the time.
Really?
Yeah.
I thought there would be more.
We got
structure.
rivals.
You know?
Yeah, it is a no hands. To a sense, it's a no hands policy, but some dudes, they just know. Like, for instance, if he gets into it with somebody, I'm a cool guy. He gets into it with somebody. They see me over here, not conscious of it. You know, we might as well get him out the way. Boom.
Right.
We've had a riot in Berlin in the gym over basketball, over a
Straight
basketball game, Boston versus down south. Like,
Really?
it can happen over anything. It could be
Yeah.
over gambling. It could be over somebody not saying excuse me. It could be over anything.
So you guys were in the same fight?
Yeah. it was-
Okay,
it was
let's
a-
talk about that shit.
it was a big
So what
ass
happened?
riot.
What happened?
It was over a basketball game.
Who had to say who?
Basketball
I want to know who had to say
game. It
that.
wasn't- This was like literally a 30-on-20
Bro,
brawl.
yeah, it just
Wow,
it's-
that's bigger than the ones I've seen in the
This
States.
was a big brawl in the gym. A whole down
Yeah.
south car and literally the whole 038 car.
Damn. And who was the bigger car?
Oh, we were. It's our backyard. It's in New Hampshire.
Oh, okay, Berlin, New Hampshire. And so that was a heavy mass car up there.
Yeah, that's what I've never seen NASCAR that big.
Wow.
But that comes with a lot of problems too.
Does it?
Literally, we're in the yard every day politicking over somebody doing some dumb shit.
Right, because the more people, the more drama.
And then you have those dudes like I said, we're small everywhere else, especially the further you get.
Yeah.
So you have those dudes from New England and Mass that want to be tough now that we are 1,000 deep. You feel what I'm saying? They trying to get their get back.
You know the most wildest shit up there though? That wave. I call it a wave. Like, let's say if y'all got into it in the gym and I'm not conscious of it, and I'm on that. I'm on a unit. Y'all get into it in the gym, like how we got into it on the gym. One guy happens to make it back. He telling dudes on the unit. So I could be on the unit with 10 down south guys, and it's only 2 of us.
Really?
You know, soon as some doors pop, they're gonna come holler at us. They gonna come try to get us. That's that wave. So normally you catch that first wave, that big brr, that brawl.
Yeah.
Because the second wave comes right after they let us up off of the lockdown. Because we don't heard what happened, so we coming out. I gotta run down on it. Yo, what's up? You had problems with my man?
Yeah.
We gotta get to it ASAP, because sometimes, majority of the times, like I seen when DC got into it with Florida, they had the big brawl in the yard. There was only 2 Florida guys and 13 DC guys on a fucking unit. They let us up. Florida dudes wasn't conscious. They went to the laundry room. Them 13 dudes ran in there with knives, stabbing the shit out of them dudes.
Damn.
Like
13 dudes with
13
knives.
dudes stabbing 2 dudes in a small ass laundry room the size of this.
Damn.
Just in there butchering their ass. That shit was crazy. You see blood on the window, all that shit.
I'm assuming that those 2 didn't make it out of there.
I mean, they made it out of there, but really fucked up really bad. You know what I'm saying? Seriously, I was seeing a lot of shit up there, yo. But the most shocking, like when I knew this, it was real, just from the state and all that, is when, like, first time on a plane, I got shipped. My first federal joint, I got shipped all the way from New York all the way to Kentucky, Pine Knot, Kentucky. We going up the mountain. There's like a mountain. The fucking transmission, you felt it going up the mountain, up the mountain, up the mountain. And then you see the wall. And I mean, you see it in the movies, the gun tower.
Yeah.
I just really never thought nothing of it. First got on the yard, the Boston white boy. They had a hot dude in there, so they like, yo, listen, we about to handle our business. We dap him and shit. They go right to the dude, stabs him in his face. They stab him in the yard. He's on the ground, they stabbing him. Now the dude in the tower, he says it in English. Get on the ground first. And then they got a player that says it in Spanish. Get on the ground. And after that, first shot goes off. Boom, hits the ground. Second one, he's gonna hit something because he's telling you get the fuck on the ground. You better be on the ground.
Damn.
Yeah, the feds is different, man.
And so did you ever see anybody get shot?
Hell yeah.
For real?
Hell yeah.
And so they'll shoot you in the head?
They will shoot you right. Like either, like the one I seen, dude got hit in the back. Because he was really like stabbing some shit up and they was telling him, get the fuck around. He still kept going. Pow, shot him in the back of his shit. He falls screaming. Damn, that shit's serious.
That's some fucking wild ass shit.
It's serious, man. But then you got spots, like it varies, man. Like the pen is where you're gonna see the most respect. Like dudes will walk by you, they keep their space, excuse me. You know, they try to keep a no hands policy because they know it can turn from 0 to 100 as a snap of the fingers.
Word. What year is it that you get out of the feds and, you know, what's your mindset like?
23, August 23, I came home. Basically, like I said, I structured a plan when I was in there from the feds. I started taking little steps as far as starting my clothing line, just executing little things, playing with certain things, stuff like that, to make sure I was ready. I stayed like in the loop of a lot of things while I was down, so I wasn't just a person that did almost 20 years and was lost. I knew fashion. I knew a lot of different stuff that I kept up with, like the times and stuff like that. So just got out and got in the swing of things. I probably chilled for like 3-4 months, just enjoying life, taking it all in, spending time with my kids, my family, shit like that. And I just got to it.
Did you have kids after you got out?
Yeah, I had a son since I've been home. He's about to turn 1 this week.
Congratulations.
Yeah.
You have the same girl that you had.
We're not together right now.
Or you're not together.
Yeah.
I don't mean to bring up anything.
Yeah.
You know, you're chilling with the girl that I was sending bread to and shit.
Yeah.
Even before we get to your rap, let's talk about me and you when we did our time together. So we was in the Max together. Explain what it was like just being there.
I mean, and he could attest to this, from being in the feds and being around, I'm one of those dudes that were around a lot of dudes that, you know, controlled things and did a lot of things. And I made money while I was up there, but, you know, I smoked a lot, partied a lot, being in the feds, doing times, just for escape, you know, what I was going through in my life at that time. So, you know, I met a lot of good people and shit like that, and I made a lot of things pop off. So by the time I got to you and stuff like that, I kind of had it figured out. You know, I had quit, you know, partying and shit like that, smoking and shit like that. And I just wanted to, you know, focus on the money thing, save up, make sure I'm prepared to come home and shit like that. So, you know, I started doing my thing with the K2, a couple other things like that, stores, shit like that. And, you know, I made good money.
What was the biggest obstacle for you to make money up there in the Max when you were with me?
It was good for the most part. It was good money. You know that.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah. We definitely, me and you did some business. We worked together.
We did a lot of good business.
Yeah. So speak on that. So you were getting pages and stuff like that, but what were you hustling for? What was your goal?
to make sure that, I was kind of, helping my support system, my kids, helping my girl at the time and stuff like that, taking care of bills, doing the good things for them. But at the same time, I was saving money, buying stuff, make sure I had the clothes and stuff like that that I wanted, I needed when I came home and stuff like that. So just getting prepared to, make sure I'm not coming home broke and have a little money. I got my own apartment before I came home,
Right.
stuff like that, just making sure I was prepared.
That's what's up. And so, did you come home prepared?
Yeah, over prepared compared to the average person that usually come home. Yeah.
That's what's up. And how important was that for you?
For me, it was everything.
Right.
Everything.
How much of a difference do you think it could make for someone to come home with some money compared to coming home just fucking?
It changes the whole board game because at the end of the day, and I know this from my past bids and just from a lot of friends or people I know in the city and state, is sometimes you fuck with people because you stuck with them, and sometimes people fuck with you because they stuck with you. So I watch a lot of dudes, including myself in the past, where you come home and you get sucked into the same environment because you need. And I explained this to somebody recently about just being in prison and how people out here, a lot of people go around or go in crowds and shit like that or be around shit because they need. You feel what I'm saying?
Right.
Like when we're in prison, right? If you pay attention, especially like in a federal system, state is different. But you see the guy that really never leaves his cell like that or don't deal with a lot of people. He usually has a good support system where he has money.
Right.
Then you see the guy that bounces around from cell to cell to cell.
Yeah.
He does that because he needs.
Right.
Might need to borrow a suit. You never
Right.
know what he needs. He might
Right.
need something, but he needs.
Mhm.
A guy that really has it figured out don't do that a lot. You feel what I'm saying? So it's the same thing. A lot of dudes come home and, they need clothes or they might deal with a chick or whoever because they need. But a guy that has it figured out, he really don't need. So it's important. It could change your whole outcome out here.
Word.
You feel what I'm saying? Having money saved or making the right decisions while you're in there.
Did you feel like it was dangerous in any type of way that it wasn't in the feds, or like do you feel like it was less dangerous or dangerous in different ways? Like
it has its up and downs because Mass is really, especially Boston, is geographical. So you have a lot of COs that by mistake or anything could pop the doors, or you can go out to in the max, you can get called out to school or medical, anything, and the ops could be out for wreck, or you could see them in the hallways, all type of shit like that. So it could get dangerous. Then you have a lot of Boston people that crash with like gangs like GDs and Bloods and stuff like that. People get stabbed in the max, all type of shit. It's riots. Then that came in the era when y'all already done fucking got into it with the COs, crushed the COs. So that was a big thing, shit like that. So yeah, the max can get dangerous.
Yeah. What year do you get out of the max?
I get out of the max. I went home 23. I think it might have been 23 because I only went back to Conquer for what? Maybe not even a whole 6 months. I couldn't even finish the drug program.
You have something lined up with Eminem's radio show,
yeah,
right?
I'll be on Shady 4-5 this week.
So how do you get from getting out of the feds to getting on Shady 4-5? Money. Simple word right there, but not as easy as some people.
Connections too, though. But I know people that can connect me to those type of people, and any, especially since of business, connections are everything. Who you know what I'm saying. So you can have all the money in the world. You got to know how to spend it for one and put it in the right pockets, stuff like that. But also you need the connections because you can have the money and not know who to even contact to make those type of moves. So connections are probably more important than the money. Every time I've got up there, it wasn't just because of the money. It was because of the connections.
How do you get...
This will be my second time going there in less than a year.
Really? And so how did you get on Shady 4-5 in particular?
The first time was through a manager, promoter that I was dealing with at the time. Shout out to Miss Chic. She made the call, got me up there. I did a feature with Jim Jones as artist King Streets. He made a lot of connections, so he did pull, got it up there. And I did Superstar J. I got to meet Howard Stern, a couple other people, stuff like that. Right where Sway recorded, stuff like that. This time I'm going up there with DJ Thorough. And I also got that by the current manager I got right now. Shout out to Big Hunter.
Have you met your idol or something like?
This is the crazy thing about it. Like within my bid, right? Like when I think it was before I was with you, because I did that like one freestyle in the yard, right? The little battle shit. I wrote most of my bid, and I just woke up one day just pissed at how things worked out before me doing music, before jail. and I probably had like 10 albums, like 10 notebooks worth of raps, and I just threw it all in the trash. So a lot of, the stuff I wrote while I was locked is just gone. I can't remember it, none of that. So, I played with it, dibble dabble, a couple spots, School Kill, Berlin, stuff like that. But I kind of was just like, I'm not gonna mess with it anymore. And being upstate with y'all and stuff, I always kept it in the back of my head, like, yo, if I get my bread right and I'm situated when I go home, I might, it's a passion hobby, you know what I'm saying? So I'm like, I might dibble and dabble with it. So I ended up coming home, my bread right, everything was right, I had everything together, and I still didn't fuck with it. I'm just at the point where I'm enjoying life. And another manager and promoter I was dealing with, shout out to TYT Management, he came to me at the time. We didn't have who was my favorite artist in the feds on a music system up there. So I got introduced to him when I went to the state, which was Al B. Al. He was another rapper that had been down for bodies and attempted murders, just like my situation. Right. So he became my favorite rapper the 3 years I was upstate, and he ended up being the first person who I ended up doing a song with.
Damn, kid. So what's that feel like?
That was great. He had a deal when he did the song with me. He was probably at the biggest spot he was at that point in time in his career, you know what I'm saying, stuff like that. So it was great, I shot a video with him, did a show with him, and that's what really made me want to, keep going and keep doing it. And, I've worked with a lot of people since then.
What's your goals? What's your dreams about this?
Right now, I just signed 3 artists. Got Bodega X out of Lawtown, shout out Lawrence. I got Chubbs, he's from Boston, from around my way, and I got Tasky. So, it's not even about me, it's about my label. Shout out to EA Sports. Just trying to push these artists on my label, and, we're going to these labels, just trying to see if we can get, right now I got a little distribution deal, but we're trying to see if we can, get something major going on for the city in general.
So what's the name of your label?
Time is Money.
Time is Money. Why'd you name it Time is Money?
I did a logo like for my clothing line, on my nonprofit, and my record label when I was up there. So I went to this dude that used to do tattoos in the Max, and I'm like, yo, I need you to do me another logo. He had already did my clothing line. So I'm like, he's like, cool. He's like, what do you want? I'm like, yo, he's like, what's the name of the label? I'm like, it's Time is Money. He's like, what do you want? I'm like, yo, I want a clock, the old school clocks, eating another clock with the money coming out the side. And he's like, yo, you should make it, like, let me make it into a whole man, make the clock a man. I'm like, cool. He put Tim's on it, all of that, handcuffs hanging, and he's asked the same question. And it means a couple of things. It's basically the time I did in prison or the time I wasted in my life, turning that into money. But I've also watched, like, people like Jay-Z, Rihanna, these celebrities, they get woken up 7, 8, 9 in the morning, and somebody's telling them, hey, from 9 o'clock to 11 o'clock, you got to be over here.
Right.
From 2 o'clock to 4 o'clock, you got to be over here.
Right.
From 6 o'clock to 12 o'clock, you got to be over here. Every second of their life they turn it into money.
Right.
And that's the point of what I want to do. No matter what I want to do, I want to turn my time into money.
Let me ask you this, though, a depth question about life in general. You want to turn your entire life into a business.
That's a fact.
Where do you get to have fun?
Some of the things I do, I'm passionate about, so it's fun when you're doing that. And for 2, the type of things I'm into, you get to have fun while you're doing it.
The reason why I ask is because how do you maintain a business life without having any fun?
It's hard.
Yeah.
I'm not going to sit here and tell you I don't get stressed out or get complicated, but, I have goals, I have dreams, so I just push for what I want. You feel what I'm saying?
Honestly, I do feel what you're saying. Yeah. I'm grinding like a motherfucker, and I'm not stopping until this fucking...
Yeah, it's going to be ups and downs, but it's better than doing what we were doing a couple of years ago.
Absolutely, brother. Absolutely.
I'm proud of you, bro.
Thank you. And so let me ask you this last question, I guess, right? Why the W Number podcast?
I spoke to B. Luke probably like 2, 3 times. I didn't even know you were home. So I'm scrolling one day on B. Luke, and I see you and I see this other guy. And I'm like, yo, I'm bugging. I think that's Maddie. So by that time, I'm doing my music shit. I'm trying to get on B. Luke. Like, I'm hitting him up.
Yeah.
And me and him, our schedules didn't match up or whatever. Like 2, 3 times we had planned to do it. And by that time, when I seen you and I did my homework and I seen the W Number, we had situations up there. Yeah. We fucking got money together, all of that type of shit. I told you, I didn't see this motherfucker damn near fucking try to take a knife out of my hand. You feel what I'm saying? White boy crazy. You feel what I'm saying? So, just seeing you and seeing you doing something positive, at first, you know, you have that thought like, oh, this motherfucker, this crazy motherfucker, you know what I'm saying? And then I see like you fucking working out, you doing that, and just to see where you came from, I'm like, so I'm so proud of this dude. And at that point, even doing B-Lo, even I would still do it in the future right now, but it wasn't just the respect I got for you, it wasn't even an option before I come and sit here with you.
Appreciate that, bro.
Bro, I'm proud of you, bro.
Yeah, man, me too, bro. Look at you guys, boy. You're sitting on the edge of the verge of something major, and the money's a lot different for you. So it's better. It's good. It's a good thing. So you got sponsors? Anybody you want to shout out?
I definitely want to shout out my management. 10 Toes Down, Big 100. My artists, Bodega, Tasty, Chubbs. My business partner, EA. I want to shout out TYT Management. And shout out my family for holding me down. You know what I'm saying? My supporting me, my sister, my child's mothers, my kids, you know. And I just want to shout out the whole 617 Beantown, the whole 38 car, everybody that's doing time, you know, juvenile, female, state, county, federal, free, everybody, you know what I'm saying? And definitely just shout out everybody that's holding it down. Threes up.
This is where I say, ooh.
Ooh. Ooh.
Light skin.
Shout out light skin.
Yo, man. Everybody who tuned in today, I appreciate you guys, man. Make sure you go check him out. I'm gonna throw some of his music in this podcast, bro. That's the guy right here, bro. Like he said, and like I said, we both been in prison together. We've been all over, you know, the system, and now he's trying to make something good with his life, and so am I. So, you know, respect that shit, bro. Respect the hustle and go check my music.
Look me out, Poolside Stixx. You know what I'm saying? Instagram, Facebook, Snapchat. Look me up, Poolside Stixx, bro.
On the way out, tell them why you named yourself Poolside Stixx, because I'm curious.
My side of the projects in Franklin Hill is called Poolside. So, shout out Young Riot and another one of my friends, you know what I'm saying? They kind of, while I was going, branded the whole Poolside thing, which we never did. It was a within thing, and, you know, Poolside Riot started off with the Poolside Riot stuff. Then you got my man Poolside. He's been out here, you know, doing his thing, making that name known. So that's just what we running with. That's my side of the projects. That's where a lot of good guys come from.
Word. That's what's up. Man, so it's good, bro. Hopefully I can get you on a live broadcast sometime.
Whenever.
All right, bro. It was good to meet you, man.
Same here, man.
What's your
Reese.
Reese.
I know it, Reese.
All right, man. Ow!